For most people, raising money for charity is hard enough, but one Salford teenager has made it his life's mission to raise as much money as he can for as many charities as he can. He is Britain's youngest philanthropist, but life hasn't always been easy for this inspiring fundraiser.
Ethan, an ordinary 16-year-old schoolboy from Salford with an extraordinary story to tell. He started fundraising for charity at the age of 9 and has since raised more than £150,000 for various local charities.
86 to 90. I'd like to thank Woodies for raising the money for Ethan's charity for 2018 Broughton House. Now recently we've had a couple of companies actually come forward and they're helping Ethan with Broughton House, and that's what I've done over the last few years for Ethan. Basically I may send 100 emails out and may get one reply, and that one reply would be, yes, we'll help Ethan, and that's good enough really. He picks a charity, I give him the help I can, but he's the figurehead, he's in the forefront of everything that actually comes for the charities.
But what has been his motivation for all this commitment to helping others, and could his motivation and commitment to helping others be down to 3 life-changing incidents before the age of 14?
His story starts when he was 1 year old, when he developed sepsis. He spent 10 days in hospital fighting for his life. He recovered from that, only to be struck down about 4 or 5 months later with croup.
But at the time they didn't think it was croup, they thought it was another condition called epiglottitis, which means it shuts your airway off. So that was quite scary because the anaesthetist came down and I thought they would have to intubate Ethan, but luckily it didn't come to that.
Today, Ethan has come to Broughton House in Salford to give the money he collected in previous months.
Good evening, Ethan. Nice to see you again. You keeping well?
Yeah. Broughton House was bought by the people of Manchester in 1916, and it was built to help the Manchester and Salford Pals Brigades that were returning injured, disabled, and those dying from the front in the Battle of Passchendaele. Then we've been looking after the Second World War, Korea and end of Empire veterans ever since, and we're extending our services now into the community for those that have served in Northern Ireland, the Falklands, Iraq and Afghanistan as well. And we've still got men here today, about 30% of the men we care for within the facility with nursing needs fought in the Second World War.
All the money that Ethan raised will go into providing the care needed for the residents of the home as well as the general upkeep of the facility.
Now he's helped Broughton House because my father died in there 25 years ago, and he just wanted to give a little bit back because he's seen everything on TV, what goes on about the conflicts all over the world and our veterans coming back.
Quite often my dad will tell him stories about his dad and about his upbringing, and you know, you get onto the conversation of, you know, well, where did Grandad die, or you know, what did he die of, and how old was he, and Ethan obviously became aware of Broughton House, and then he asked questions about, well, what's Broughton House, and then we explain it's a home for ex-veterans, and he said, well, can I not raise money for them? Well, of course you can, yeah.
With Broughton House, my great-granddad was in Broughton House when he died, and you know, veterans, you know, are often sometimes homeless and things like that, so charities like that really do help to support those kinds of people.
It's £230.
Thank you very much, Ethan. Much appreciated. So thank you very much for your time and your fundraising efforts. You're a real credit. Thank you.
The second life-changing event happened when Ethan was 8 years old and he was struck by a car as he was leaving school.
He just left school, it was on a hot summer's day. I was just putting something into the back of the car and then I heard a big thud, not thinking that Ethan had been hit, and obviously when I saw Ethan he was on the floor and he did have a lot of blood. Because he'd taken the impact on his mouth. So what had happened was the car had actually hit him in the knees, flung him forward, and his face hit the wing mirror, actually with some force because it took the wing mirror off the car.
Well, it's a bit of a blur, like that day or that week even just wiped out completely, but I do remember after and just the shock of not knowing what had happened or where I was or what was going on.
Ethan has helped many charities in the past for various reasons. One of those charities is Mind.
We lost our nephew, and that was, basically related to mental health. And as a personal, for me, for Ethan to come and say that's what he wanted to do in memory of my nephew was amazing.
I raised the money for Mind, like charity nights and just collections, just community collections and gatherings and stuff like that.
We're a local charity that positively impact the mental health of people who both live and work in Salford. Yeah. We support lots of people who have struggled with their own mental health, and we support them through our advocacy, through our advice teams and through our training. Ethan was relatively unique in what he was doing, so raising so much money at such a young age, it was really impressive the way he was going.
Ethan's life wasn't always taken up with charity work. As a budding swimming career blossomed for the young athlete.
After the hit and run, I was advised to start swimming as it put no pressure on my joints, and then from there I just sort of excelled at it.
The physiotherapist that actually suggested to his mum to get Ethan in the pool to build his muscles, help his recovery. And she did this, and he joined the City of Salford Swimming Club. And within 2 years, at age 11, he was the fastest butterfly swimmer in that age group in the whole of the country.
With Ethan's swimming career well underway and at one point matching the time set by world record holder Michael Phelps, it seemed like nothing could stop this national athlete.
And that was when Ethan was 12 years old. And not many people get to the nationals at 12 years old.
And a horrific time when Ethan was about 14 years old, when he became very poorly. And in the end he was diagnosed with hemiplegic migraines.
The migraines Ethan suffered put a stop to his swimming and forced him to stop any fundraising.
A particular day he'd woke up and he completely paralysed down the right hand side, and as a mother and as a nurse that is absolutely frightening and terrifying. And again, he was the one that he grounded me and kept me calm. Migraine free now, 18 months on. I've not done that. He's done that. With the help of the professionals have been really good. But I think it's a sheer determination not to be knocked down.
Ethan's charity work doesn't go unnoticed, as he has received countless awards for his hard work and generosity.
And the thing about Ethan, he's never asked for anything in return. He doesn't go out there helping people and helping charities, expecting anything back. And if Ethan could stay under the radar and do it without anybody knowing, he would do that. The proudest moment for me, and I'm sure for Ethan, is when he was awarded the British Citizen Award when he was 14 years old at the Palace of Westminster. And on the day he was the youngest recipient ever. The oldest chap that was there was awarded the same medal, and he was 106 years old. So Ethan is a fantastic ambassador for the City of Salford.
Ethan also has some local fans at home. This is Paul Dennett, the Mayor of Salford, who has followed Ethan from the start.
I've known Ethan for probably about 4 years now, and we met at the Royal British Legion on Langworthy Road at one of the fundraising events that Ethan was doing in Langworthy in Salford. So I first heard about what Ethan was doing through his granddad. His granddad is his biggest fan in many respects, and quite rightly so really when you look at obviously Ethan's story. And his granddad contacted me to tell me about what happened to Ethan, obviously with the hit and run when he was 8 years of age, and how that affected his life, but how he was determined to do something about it. So in Salford we talk about the welfare of the people being the highest law, and in Latin, under the coat of arms of the City of Salford, it does actually say that. But we also talk about the spirit of Salford, and we all wear these little badges, and the spirit of Salford ultimately are the people of this city. And Ethan in many respects epitomises, one, the fact that the welfare of the people is the highest law, but also the fact that, you know, the spirit of Salford is the people and what they do to make this city the great place that it is.
Ethan's young life has been filled with trauma and hardship, but through it all he has helped shape the lives of many people and do well in the world with the help of his family.
Oh, he's my best friend. He's absolutely my best friend. I still nag him as a mother, because that's what you have to do, and you know, you've got to teach them the right road. And so far it's worked, because Ethan's always chose that right path, and I hope he continues to choose that right path. But yeah, he's my best friend, and to be perfectly honest, he drives me mad. He leaves his pots in his bedroom, he doesn't clean the kitchen after himself, but if that's the most that he does, then I'm doing a good job.
And of course, we have to let Ethan have the final say on why he does all of this outstanding work.
Quite a stupid question, but why are you so selfless?
Well, with everything that I've been through and things like that, it's sort of dwarfed by what other people are going through. Like with St Anne's Hospice, obviously people spend the final days there. Mine is mental illness, and obviously that affects people every day. And just like all the other charities all do so much to help people, which are much less fortunate than myself, because I am still here. I've got I don't have massive issues to deal with, but I know people do, and anything I can do to help them makes me feel better.